Welcome back to my channel where math is made easy. So today we're going to be looking at a simple but very important topic: how to rewrite equations and formulas. Alright, so let's do some groundwork before we even begin. Literal equations, what are they? Any equations that have two or more variables, they're considered literal equation. All right, before we even go any further, remember to go like this video, share this video, leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. So now let's go back right into the lesson. So remember again, literal equations are any equations that have two or more variables. All right, well, normally we're used to those equations that have only one variable and we're going to solve for that or whatever. If it has two or more variables, then it's a literal equation. Now let's look at this one. It says solve the literal equation, and obviously it's literal because we have a y and an x, right? Two variables for y. When it says that, and you can see this being written in many forms, when it says you're to write it for y, it means that we want y to be on one side by itself. Notice now y is not on one side by itself. We have the 4x and we have the 3. Now we're going to treat it as if you were solving regular equations. We're going to move everything that we want out of the way using the inverse operation and balancing method. All right? So first thing first, we're going to have to get rid of, and let me change the color right here. We're going to move our plus 4x, and in order to cancel that out, what do? Minus a 4x. Same thing you do on one side, you do to the other, right? So let's rewrite. So that's 3y left on this side is equal to 9 minus 4x, right? That's what we have on that side. But we still haven't written it in terms of y or written it for y. We want to write it for y, meaning y must be alone on one side. So we're going to dive right in and we're going to continue. So it means now we need to get rid of the 3. Remember, like in my previous video, if it's multiplying, because this is multiplying right here, then we'll have to do the inverse operation, which is division. So we're going to divide on both sides. 3. All right? Now, this, we're left with y is equal to 9 minus 4x over 3, or it can also be written as y is equal to 9 over 3 minus 4 over 3x, right? And this can be simplified. So that's going to be 3, because that's cancelled out. 3 minus 4 over 3x. Good? And if you're to rewrite that, our final answer would be y. Let's change that color. Y is equal to minus 4 over 3x plus 3. You can write it like that, or you could just leave it in that form. Whichever way is perfectly fine. All right, let's go. So number 2, here, let me just rewrite this equation right here so that you can see it. So that's 3x plus 5x, and that's a z. I like to put that right there so you know it's not a 2, and we're solving 4x. All right, so that should be y is equal to that. So we're gonna solve 4x. So that's y is equal to 3x plus 5xz. Now if you look there, they're asking us to solve 4x, so it means that we need to do something that's gonna get our x by itself. Nice. Now we can go ahead and we can factor our x out because x is in both of these terms. So let's go. So that's y. Let me change the. So that's y is equal to and I'm going to factor my x out. So that's 3x divided by x, that's going to give me 3. 5xz divided by x, that's going to give me 5z. Now I have my x isolated, so I can easily get rid of anything else that is there. Let's get rid of this. If you notice, the x is multiplying this, so I can go ahead and divide that. And anything I do on one side, I do to the next, right? So I'm left with that. That's cancelled out. So y over 3 plus 5z is equal to x. And you can always write that on the other side if you have a problem with it being on the right. Just rewrite it, all right? Now, remember, it's just writing it as you would have done for regular equations. You're just moving everything that's in the way of what you want to write on one side by itself. All right, so if they ask you to write for y, you want y to be on one side by itself. So use the inverse operation and use the balancing method to help you to get that. All right, let's go over here. A formula. So a formula shows how one variable is related to one or more other variables. All right, so for example, we have our area of a rectangle formula right here. How is the length and the width related to the area, right? We know that in order to find the area, we must multiply the length times the width. And this long one up here, to find the surface area of the rectangular prism, you'll have to do all of this lovely work here. So for this one, it asks you to solve for L. Remember now, a formula is a type of literal equation. As you can see, it has more than one variables. So we have our L, we have our W, we have our S in that equation, we have our H, all right? So that is also a type of literal equation. So we're gonna solve for L. What's the first thing that you do right here? I'm gonna take my time and get rid of whatever I need. So I need to move this first. So that's gonna be a minus 2WH. So that's gonna cancel out. A minus 2WH. Remember, anything you do on one side, you must do to the other side. So that's S minus 2WH is equal to 2LW plus 2LH. Now, if you notice, it's asking us to solve for L. Just like with over here when we were solving for X, if you look, there's something that we can factor out right here. We can factor our L out because that's what we want to solve for. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna factor that out. So that's S minus 2WH is equal to my L, and this factored out is gonna be 2W plus 2H, all right, because L into that, let me write it right here so you can have a better view of it. So that's 2LW divided through by L, that's going to cancel out. I'm left with 2W. And the same thing applies for 2LH. Factor out my L, I'm going to be left with 2H. All right? So that's where that came from. Just in case anyone was wondering. So let's wrap this up. What would be my next move? I want to get rid of this, so I have L alone. So remember, this is multiplying right here, so I can go ahead and divide. Anything you do on one side, you do to the next. So that's gonna be canceled out. So my final answer here, and I'm trying to find another color to use. So my final answer is gonna be L is equal to S minus 2WH over 2W plus 2H. All right, now I would have written this equation or this formula in terms of L. Now let's go to this one. Pretty simple, so let's quickly go through this one. This one is the area formula, area of a rectangle. And we're solving for, it's asking us again to write that equation in terms of, let's see what it says here. You're writing it for L. Alright? For L. So again, for L, what would I need to get rid of? I need to get rid of the W, and right now it's multiplying, so I would divide through by W. Alright, that's cancelled out. So L is equal to A over W. And that's basically it for rewriting equations and formulas. I hope this would have helped you. Don't forget to subscribe. Remember to like this video, share this video, and remember to leave a comment. All right, thank you for watching.